Hey everybody, here we are, ready to dig into the W.C. Fields silent comedy Running Wild from 1927. Now, in this movie, W.C. Fields is Elmer Finch, a very timid man, scared of pretty much everybody. His daughter believes that he can be great, but his second wife constantly berates him, and quite frankly, his stepson might just as well be the man of the house, considering he pretty much has his mother wrapped around his finger. Now, the situation is just as bad at the novelty shop that Elmer works at, where he's been a clerk for 20 years with no promotion. But when he is sent to collect the bill from somebody that is apparently very difficult when it comes to bill collectors, Elmer ends up running into a theater where a hypnotist is performing. There, Elmer is hypnotized into believing that he is a lion. Now, before the hypnotist can bring him out of that, Elmer runs off, fiercely dealing with all the various problems that were introduced in the first part of the movie. Now, when I first heard about this movie, which was when this and It's the Old Army Game were announced as coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, I didn't really know what to make of it. I can only claim to have really seen it, like one or two of W.C. Fields' movies previously, like Mississippi and The Big Broadcast of 1938. But from what I had seen, I had no idea what to make of the idea of W.C. Fields being in any silent movies. Sound seemed to serve his style of comedy really well, I thought, so I was admittedly curious to see what he would be like in a silent movie, without that well-known voice of his. Now, I will admit, this movie started out a little slow for about the first 20 minutes or so, I think. But I figure that it was all set up, helping to introduce us to the character. And once his character was hypnotized, then the fun really began. All the setup worked. At least I think it did. So all the running around and screaming, "I'm a lion!" was absolutely hilarious. Now, while he wasn't quite as agile as other silent comedians like Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton or Harold Lloyd, which I would attribute partly to his age, since I think that W.C. Fields was maybe 47-ish at the time that he made this movie, if I am correct. But he still managed to rely enough on physical comedy, which I really didn't see him do much of in the couple of sound movies that I had seen. So as for the movie itself, I do recommend it for a few good laughs if you get the chance. Now, apparently, this movie owned by Paramount had no prior release on DVD. So, Kino Lorber's release on Blu-ray and DVD is the first one on home video in quite a while, I think. The movie did undergo some restoration for this release. Now, I'm not quite informed enough to know what elements still exist for this movie, although I think I was reading that it was from a 35mm print that the Library of Congress had. But I can only say what I do know about this release. The picture looks pretty good, although it does have some weaker moments, but quite frankly, I would say that, again, without knowing for sure what shape most of the elements are in themselves, this movie looks pretty good, I think. I personally don't expect the movie to look pristine, considering its age and how many silent films are lost to us at this point, and what's left don't always have the best elements to work with. So if you want perfect, look at elsewhere. But if you can stand to live with less than perfect, which you might have to with some of these older films, you can have a very good time here. I mean, I don't know whether to recommend it for young kids who can't read yet, but then again, they might be able to supply dialogue that is just as funny, at least for their parents anyways. But the movie is 1 hour and 8 minutes in length. Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody, and I hope you'll keep tuning in.